You clicked on this video and you did your mouth a huge favor. I almost said flavor, because I'm here to tell you why chimichurri, the world famous Argentinian sauce, is so much more than just a sauce. It is in fact the blueprint for you to craft your own favorite condiment to put on anything for instant flavor. Welcome to KWOOWK. My name is Kevin and I make videos about food for you to watch while eating food. And for those of you who don't know what chimichurri is, I will quickly walk you through how to make it. It is very easy. It's really all about the ingredients. Some fresh parsley, a good olive oil, red wine vinegar, garlic, salt, dried oregano, some chili flakes, and some freshly ground black pepper. The nice part about chimichurri is that there's no cooking involved. It's just chopping and a little bit of waiting. And it's a good opportunity for you to practice your chopping skills on this parsley. You have to get the parsley leaves relatively finely chopped. The best way to do this is with this rocking motion technique, but it doesn't really matter as long as you get the right consistency. Now you just get that into a bowl or a container of sorts and mix in a good quality olive oil. 3 tablespoons for every 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. You want the liquid part to act kind of as a glue, keep everything together, and also deliver all the flavor of everything we put in. It is ultimately up to you how much oil and vinegar you want to use. You just want to aim for a consistency kind of like this. I am also grating in 1 clove of garlic. Of course, you cannot go wrong with garlic, as well as some chili flakes for a little bit of heat. And a lot of people also add dried oregano. And of course, bring it all together with a good amount of salt. This is a flavorful, punchy condiment, so make sure to taste and get the right amount of salt in there. Just a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, and mix that thoroughly. That's such a tough word for me to pronounce. My East European mouth is not meant to say that. Just mix that thoroughly. And now you just let it rest in the fridge, ideally like overnight, but at least a couple hours. The point here is to bloom all the nice aromatic flavors into the oil and acid, and it's also gonna make the texture more cohesive. In Argentina, chimichurri goes on meats. You will see it a lot on steaks, in steakhouses, on houses. It coats every slice, delivering a perfect amount of herby, punchy flavor. And the reason it works so well is because of the secret of the vinaigrette. Vinaigrette and link. A vinaigrette is just a mixture of fat and acid. Usually 3 parts fat to 1 part acid, and by mixing, shaking that up, you get a very special thing. A glossy, rich liquid that sticks to anything you put it on. It is the basis of any good salad dressing, and that's because it coats the leaves and delivers the flavor. But you might see where this is going. We can use this idea and put our own spins on chimichurri and craft our own condiments. And it's easy to visualize this if we actually break it down into components. We have fresh herbs, the vinaigrette, the aromatics like the garlic, and some spices. So let's play around with this. And the first thing I thought of was to replace the parsley with cilantro. And I highly recommend this, unless you got that soap thing, in which case blame Mother Nature or Jesus Christ or whatever God you believe in, because it is truly a privilege to taste cilantro. And now for the vinaigrette, I want to use a very high quality olive oil. My friend Dionysus sent me his olive oil. He owns his own olive trees and makes his own oil. It's a family business that he has, and the oil is just incredible. The amount of flavor in that is unbelievable. This is not a paid advertisement, I just really like it, and it's perfect for a chimichurri. For the acid, I'm swapping out vinegar with lime juice because I'm going for a bit of a Mexican vibe with this chimi, which is why I'm also adding some fresh jalapeno, which not only gives us the heat, but also that aromatic green flavor. You know when something tastes green? I feel like jalapenos taste very green. For the spices, I will grind some cumin seeds. For some reason, I actively dislike pre-ground cumin. And of course, salt. Without salt, we will not unlock the full potential of this condiment. Now give it a good shake, make sure everything is mixed up, and leave it in your fridge. You can leave these in your fridge for, I'd say, 1 to 2 weeks. It's gonna give you a real boost of flavor to anything you put it on. For example, this is a meal I would have for lunch. I'm just using some leftover chicken to put on a taco. And then by adding our Mexican-inspired chimichurri on this, you take it from a 5 out of 10 to a solid like 8.5. And the sky is the limit when it comes to your chimis. Another thing I experimented with lately is a chimichurri that I can put on pasta. I went for a flavor profile similar to aglio e olio, but with some extra things. So I'm using parsley, but also some fresh oregano. I even added some anchovies, which was a wonderful move on my part. I highly recommend it. And some capers for that addictive brininess. I fucking love capers. Of course, garlic, olive oil, and this time I'm using lemon juice. Finish with salt, give it a good mix, and let's see if this works. I'm taking cooked pasta directly from the water, put it into a bowl, and just toss in a good tablespoon of this chimichurri. And by mixing, it will emulsify a bit with the starch from the pasta water. It's gonna coat the pasta and give it this amazing flavor. I would even throw in some green peas in here, but I didn't have it somehow. And that's a super quick meal with virtually no dishes. And the last one I want to show you just to kickstart some ideas in your head is this Sichuan inspired one. This one, as opposed to the other ones, started with the spices and the aromatics in mind. I wanted to highlight the flavor of that Sichuan peppercorn. I also added some fennel seeds and ground up the toasted spices into this powder. Now in a jar, I grated some fresh ginger, fresh garlic, added my spice powder. I also chopped up and added some scallion. And only now I added some greens. I used cilantro again to cut through the punch of all these strong flavors. For the vinaigrette, I used a neutral oil this time, as well as rice vinegar with a little extra flavor from toasted sesame oil. And this is a very strong condiment that will give anything a big boost. My favorite thing to make with it, and I made this straight up almost every day, is to make a fried egg. And I just put the chimichurri on the egg while frying. And something really cool happens here is that some of the chimichurri goes to the edges and cooks with the oil, and we can use the oil to baste the egg. And it just wakes up those flavors so nicely. And just put that on some steamed rice. And it's a humble meal, but it is very enjoyable. And of course, these are just some examples. You guys are probably more creative, so if you come up with anything, feel free to tag me on Instagram. And I also really appreciate your support on patreon.com/KWOOWK. It actually really helps me these days. So if you want to support, if you want to get access to my recipes, including some of these chimichurris, go to patreon.com/KWOOWK. All right, I'll see you soon.